Swanglin.
Yeah.
Oh, episode 36 of the Swanglin Show. It's going down. Stan Edwards Jr. is joining me today, as well as Mitch Millions, aka Marinated Mitch, representing Jonesboro, Arkansas, is also in the house. We got the battle of the two individuals who are tied as the #1 contender for Vice Grip, MrGrippz Swanglin Heavyweight Championship. It's going down on episode 36 of the Swanglin Show. You know who was dope that wore jersey number 36? Rasheed Wallace. Championship basketball player. Rasheed Wallace was the truth. Today, it's me, Joshua P. Dunn, on the Swanglin Show, and today the P is going to be for Pimpin and not Simpin, because we're going to talk about some simping shit. We're going to talk about some simping shit today on the Swanglin Show. I got Mr. Rapper Geek Stan Edwards Jr., the self-proclaimed Intercontinental Swangler, the self-proclaimed King of the Mid-Card, when it comes to all things that are Swanglin, is joining us in the building today on episode 36 of the Swanglin Show. Stan, I gotta know, what is your opinion on simping?
My opinion is that, simping makes the world go around, bro. Like, simping fuels a lot of industries in this, this economy that we live in. If you think about it, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be a flower industry without simping. You know, it wouldn't be the restaurants probably wouldn't thrive the way they do without simping. All the designer companies, they wouldn't be thriving the way they are without simping. So I mean, simping is necessary. I wouldn't advise it.
I am without simping.
I wouldn't advise it, but simping is necessary.
Marinated Mitch, you hear. Okay, you and Stan Edwards Jr. are tied for the king of the next apparent heir that could be to the Swanglin Championship. And you hear Stan comes in with the controversial, some would say, hot take, saying simping makes the world go round. It's like the grease that gets it going out here. And I seen your eyes just light up like like a dimly lit sky on the 4th of July. I just seen it light up like, oh, you had something to say right there about simping.
Man, you gotta have the simping around, man. Like he said, it's what makes the world go round. It makes some people who they are, because you got these other people that do all that simple shit, you know what I'm saying? And the ones that stand out and, ain't necessarily on all that simping shit, you know what I'm saying? It helps them out, and they ain't even got to say nothing to do nothing half the time, if that makes sense. You know?
Well, okay, so it's kind of like, I used to have this argument all the time with our good homie, Mr. Rage. Rest in peace to the homie, Mr. Rage, represent Jonesboro, Arkansas. DJ Ricky Hughes. He used to tell me all the time, it don't matter, no matter what I said, no matter what. It is still tricking if you got it. What's your take on that, Stan? Is it still tricking if you got it?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I heard, it's funny, I heard somebody say this ain't an original thought. I heard somebody say this, and I wish I could give them credit, but they said you can't trick if you don't got it. So yeah, absolutely, it's still tricking. It's still tricking if you got it.
Yeah. Tricking is tricking.
Okay, so does the term tricking apply to other things outside of commerce, other things than spending money? Like, is spending my time tricking? Am I tricking? So if am I tricking?
Time is money, so yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I love pro wrestling.
The amount of time you spend laid up with somebody, or the amount of time you spend in a business deal, that all comes to play, whenever it comes to making the money, So if you sitting there tricking your time off and you don't get no return of income from that, then what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that applies in relationships and everything you do, Tricking is tricking, but people got to learn to earn the tricking, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And business-wise, relationship-wise, everything, like you got to have something worth tricking over. Don't just go out there and trick off on some random people that you don't know, you ain't never did business with, or you don't know her at all. You just saw a pretty face.
Like it's trick to me. Tricking and simping is basically, you throwing out your value and not getting none back. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you can definitely be tricking with your time. You ain't got to spend money to be tricking. You could be tricking just throwing out useless ass random ass compliments. You know what I'm saying? Like that could be considered tricking if you ain't getting nothing back from it. Now if you throwing out a compliment, to your woman or to your wife, of course, that ain't tricking. Because you with somebody you like seeing a smile on her face when you give her a compliment. You want to make you with somebody who it benefits you when you make them feel good. But if you just throwing out a random compliment or spending your time with some woman who ain't giving you value in return, then you a trick.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's a debatable concept though, because there's people on the other side of the coin there that will say, you want to know what? We deserve this and everything else, and as men, you see within your friend circles and family members, like the way that everybody individually handles their personal relationship scenarios differently. Some people are very relaxed. Some people are, very eager to want to experience things and go spend money, and then some people do it just because that's the only thing that they deem that a woman would find them attractive for, is how they can spend some money. Now, to me,
But
when you cross into that threshold, when it's like you got to flex paper in order to have value to a woman, that's when the line is crossed and it becomes straight up pure fuckery, like top tier simping. Marinated Miss, what are your thoughts have you ever witnessed just this utmost just bravery of simping, just the biggest simping you've ever saw?
Bruh, that's to me, that's number one, is seeing somebody that they look at a person's appearance or whatever, and they think that she's cute or whatever, and they feel like the need that they gotta buy everything or try to show off their money to try to get just a little bit more on her, pay attention to scale. I don't know. To me, like that's whack, man. Like if a person likes you, they're gonna like you, man. You ain't got to spend all that money and try to showboat and all that, because half the times when you do that, you don't get genuine love out of that. You know what I'm saying? You get a person loving your hand out. They love getting that money, and that's what it becomes. Hey, give me this then. Give me this then. And to me, that's what simping is all about. You know what I'm saying? You having to pay your way everywhere instead of, you know what I'm saying, you getting benefits from being who you are naturally. Like most guys, most of my friends, they can talk to a girl and they can get just as far with a girl without money. You know what I'm saying? Not saying they broke, but they ain't out there spending it and tricking it off just on unnecessary shit. Just try to boost her up on him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll spend it. You know what I'm saying? But it's to get the value out of her. It's to see, you know what I'm saying, if she can help me benefit later on in life, instead of, hey, I'm trying to get her right now, man. Da, da, da. You know how shit is, bro.
Yeah. And I think, when it's about, like, when people have that type of urgency to, like, try and flex to create, like, false value of themselves, and you see that scenario break down, that's always something that's kind of sad to see for any man to, step into those fucking waters right there. So
especially when it's your homeboy, man. When
yeah.
it's somebody that you fuck with, you just didn't, you either ain't never seen them on that type of play, trying to hook up with somebody, or, you didn't know that that's how they were, but there's some people, that's all they have, they don't have communication and just oral skills to where they can just talk to somebody and get on a level with them to where, you know what I'm saying, that they feel each other's vibes and they want to be around each other more instead of, tricking, simping.
Stay in your thoughts.
That's somebody who don't know who they are. If you know who you are, you know what I'm saying, and what you not necessarily the value that you bring, but I would say that the value that you bring to the world. You know what I'm saying? If you know who you are, then you ain't gotta rely on, what you got. You know what I'm saying? So, and I forgot. I had a thought in my head. I lost it. But yeah, like, to me, like, if you spend time figuring out who you are, you know what I'm saying, and what you value, and the value that you require from other people, you know, you're not going just you're not just going, give away your value hoping that it's going to pay off one day. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you're going to give your value to the people who give you value.
I think that's a very good point, but some people, they look at their own value and they don't really assess it properly. They don't really know that, the things that they're willing to give to people are enough to make somebody want to return that. Like some people process that type of acceptance and love differently. You know what I mean? To where like some people just straight out buy prostitutes and shit,
right,
because they have this weird disconnect there as well. You know what I mean? I think it's maybe because like throughout our era, the common structure of a household isn't common anymore for like people that's our age. A lot of us didn't have, two parents in the house, or people have like remarried families and a huge amount of siblings that aren't actually their siblings, but they are by, you know what I mean? Like our family structures have changed within the United States drastically over like 50-year period. So maybe that contributes in some way to the simping problem out here. Maybe it's lack of male leadership within the home. What do you think about that, Mitch?
I agree. Most kids that are from where I'm from, they're not used to seeing, happily ever after. Like you said, it's always people getting married, getting divorced, or, side pieces getting pregnant and other families being started. So that concept of raising your kids on how to love the correct way, is kind of thrown out. Like for me, when I see people that are married longer than 20 years, to me, I congratulate them, because it's hard. It's very hard in today's era, and it's something that you don't see anymore. Back when I was younger, you would always hear, 20, 30 years, but now, man, the average marriage seems like it lasts about 6 months to a year and a half, and it's done and over with, And so I feel like it does play a huge part in it, because, I mean, you're not used to it,
Yeah.
Your brain responds, without you actually thinking about it, and that causes that to happen more towards that way, instead of you trying to fall in love with somebody or trying to make it last. And I think that's a big part of it, to be truthfully honest. Like,
now, with that, what do you guys think, Stan? You were on episode 35 of the Swanglin Show, where we talked about cultural assimilation. Do you think technically that would be considered a form of cultural assimilation?
How so? Like what?
Like the deterioration of the traditional family structure in the United States. So technically, wouldn't that be considered our new culture? Is, split families and broken homes and
To me, that sounds like
families and shit.
that sounds like cultural destruction.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
it
Like
does. It does.
yeah, that sounds like we destroy. That's a whole deeper subject, of course. But we've destroyed the idea of the two-parent household. The staying married, you're staying married to the same person, forever. We've destroyed that, and part of the reason why we've destroyed that is because it's not as necessary as it used to be. One thing people don't, just speaking about marriage, and it ties into simping and doing, what I'm saying, like doing all these extravagant things or whatever. To me, it's like, what are you doing it for? Like, what's your why? If you got a strong why, for why you're doing something, then it can work. You know what I'm saying? Or even if it don't work, you can at least sleep at night and say, you know what, I did what I wanted to do. It didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but I did what I wanted to do. So if you only get married because, that's her dream wedding or something like that, or you only get married because you think that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. a lot of women now, they just want to be married just so other people can see them married, their friends, their families, you know. And to me, you should never get married for that. Like, it says thick and thin, you know what I'm saying? Death do you part. You know, so that it don't say when they cheat on you, it's over. It don't say, you know, when they piss you off, it's over. You know, and I think that's the big difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, love, real, true, genuine love will stick together through thick and thin. Them people need to get married. But for the ones that when some little altercation happens and they try to take off running, or, you know what I'm saying, they retaliate in a different way other than respect, you know, then you shouldn't get married, in my opinion. Like, I'm single myself, you know what I'm saying, and I believe that I'm supposed to be single right now because I don't just have that, you know. And I've had girls, you know, ask me, you know, they want to get married, and I told them, if I get married to you, it's because we're supposed to be together. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel comfortable enough to live the rest of my life with you, you know, and I want you to feel comfortable enough with me also. You know, it goes both ways when it comes to that marriage, man. And if both of y'all aren't on the same team or fighting towards the same goal, then it's never gonna work. So don't don't just get married just because y'all have a kid, or don't just get married because all your friends are married and that's what the ideal American dream is or whatever. Get married just because you love somebody, man, and you want to be with them forever. You know they want to be with you forever.
And I think that's a wonderful thing to point out, the little trifecta of scenarios and influence that we're playing with here. Because Stan's been married for he's in a long-term marriage. I'm on the verge of getting married, and I'm in a long-term relationship. Marinated Mitch is coming from the single perspective, you know. So I think it's interesting that right now we can assess and draw the line. Like, when you're in a relationship and you're building with somebody, at what point is it no longer simping? You know what I mean?
Well, to me, if marriage is one of the goals, you know, and y'all have been together for a while and both of y'all value each other like that and give y'all that mutual respect, then there is no simping. Like, you can call it simping, but I call it just, you know, love. You know what I'm saying? There's things like Prof said earlier that you do just to make her smile, you know what I'm saying? Just to see her happy, you know what I'm saying? And it should be vice versa. You know what I'm saying? You should be getting the same in return. And so to me, that's not simping at all. To me, that's a further version of pimping, because y'all are on a whole nother level now. Y'all can build together, you know what I'm saying, and create something that just one of y'all probably couldn't do alone, you know what I'm saying. But when you get together, and like I said, both of y'all on that same page, and you got that bond to death do us part, and it's real, man, y'all can grow, man. Sky's the limit. Anything y'all want, man. Anything you set your mind to, man. As long as it's real and it's something that both of y'all truly want, like, it's a power play. It's a power
Right.
team, you know.
Absolutely, and I
You
agree with
you ask
that.
like if it you ask if it like when is it not simping? It's not simping from the get go. You know what I'm saying? Like from the jump, like when it started. Like it's all about I always say like, how it started is how it's going. You know, like how it starts is how it ends. So, you know, as long as you doing because simping is basically doing something you don't want to do, hoping it's gonna pay off in the future. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But if you as long as you doing what you want to do, like it don't matter what it is. Like one person could take a girl out on a date and be simping, but another dude could take a girl out on a date and not be simping. The difference is to me is one was doing something he didn't want to do, hoping it'll pay off. And the other one was doing something he wanted to do no matter what. He just included the woman with him. So it all just depends on are you doing what you want to do?
Yeah, the intent. If you're listening to the
Yeah.
Swanglin Show and
Yeah.
if you're a recurring listener of the Swanglin Show, you'll know. Me and Marinated Mitch, we already did a whole fucking episode about that fucking topic that you can go back and check out. If you're a listener of the Swanglin Show, potentially, you'll probably dig that conversation. So I'm thinking, I was going to ask Stan that question as well. Like, okay, when you go to take your wife on a date, do you think, oh, well, shit, here I am simping? You know what I mean? I don't see it that way. When I go to take
No.
my fiance somewhere
No,
to eat, I'm like, hell yeah, I love going to places to eat with my girl. You know what I'm saying? So for me,
no,
I
yeah,
guess it is about that intent and what it is that you're trying to do. And it's just like, if you're one of these dudes that's out here that's just trying to like fucking manipulate your influence in personal relationships to get butt from girls and stuff and do all this. Be one of these little freakazoids out here and just be bopping around, you know.
Right.
Just be pure about what you're doing. You don't gotta hype people up and sell them dreams and do shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because selling dreams, I feel like, is a major part of simping. You know, you see these dudes that they gotta, you know, try and flex their money and or flex their car or do whatever, and they're always trying to sell this false narrative, like this fake ass motherfucking dream. Prof, what do you think about that fake ass dream?
I mean, it goes back to not knowing who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like if you gotta emphasize the things that you have, everything that's outside of you. You know, you placing more value on that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like thinking that's going to get you results. But the thing is, it's like, say for instance, if it does get you the result, you know, you do get that woman, you know, because of your car or, you know, the amount of money you spending, like, and she does come home with you. She's still coming home with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you ain't shit underneath, you know, that money that you spending in that car that you're driving, then she's going to find the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? So to me, you might as well just lead with who you are, not what you got.
Well, shit, you got to think though that that's only prevalent if the person that you're dealing with is fucking somebody worth value,
Rich.
anyways. Because some people will milk a scenario and stick around just for the money. Like that's actually a common thing within the United States, like family structure within like the 50s, 60s, and 70s before, you know, like women really, really were out here doing their thing all the motherfucking way, to where women would, you know, they would tolerate. They would be way more tolerant to crazy shit, to stay in crazy relationships, or to stay involved with a man because there's money there. So, Marinated Mitch, have you ever been in a scenario in a personal relationship where you felt like a motherfucker would use you for money?
No, I'm not gonna say that. Um, to be truthfully honest, man, I had good girls in my past. I was just going through a lot of stuff myself, and
He said I was going through some things.
I'm being honest. I'm gonna be honest, you know, and I feel like I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to grow all the way up, to be truthfully honest. And but the girls that I had, man, I didn't have to flex my money, man. They all made money, you know. They made just as much as I did, you know what I'm saying? And we really were a power couple, and I fucked up, you know, just being real. Letting, you know, outside world and getting influenced by friends and other women, and it killed the dream that we were supposed to have, you know. It was all me. It was all me, bro. It had nothing to do with the money. It's
And
crazy
you know
though, you know, looking back,
that
you know, I'm grown now,
yeah.
and I can see it clear as day, you know what I'm saying now, because the type of people that I had, you know what I'm saying, and what I turned them into. Like, and it wasn't intentional. It was just me trying to live the life still, you know, on the road, doing all these shows and making music and all the stuff that comes with it. And I lost sight, you know, trying to follow a dream, and it ended up killing what my priorities should have been, you know.
Oh yeah.
But the money,
And
like every girl.
it's good though. It's very good though, Mitch, to be able to like be that accountable of yourself, to know like, man, you
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah.
I've
It's
been
growth,
very
man. A lot of
fortunate
growth.
to have this, you know, to have good people come around me, and regardless of, you know, how the way things played out, you know, be able to say,
But
yeah, okay, my bad, you know, my bad for what I did there, you know.
I was
So we're gonna
tripping. I
give
was tripping.
yeah, we're gonna give a round of applause for the co number one contender for MrGrippz Swanglin Heavyweight Champion. The other one is in the building as well, Stan Rapper Geek Edwards Jr., aka Young Prof, representing Toledo, Ohio. And then boom, out of nowhere, there he is, my co-host. We thought he potentially may have been abducted, but he's here. The Wyandotte County boy,
Butt
the
cheeks.
Zeus bearded aficionado of all things custom furniture. Kyle Newkleus Holsinger is joining us on an episode today about simping. Kyle, what are your thoughts about the concept of simping?
Lazy boy.
Yeah. Um, simping is definitely a negative thing to be doing. I feel like if you're a man, you got to be above it for your own integrity, for your own goals, and just because you got to set an example too. But also, like, I've been there, we've all been there. Like, a girl, there's a girl pretty enough. There are girls pretty enough in this world that all of us could be something. The goal is to never be. We try our best, but sometimes, the girl, she's got what we're looking for. So how do you prevent yourself from, going after the girl that you can't resist? It's a tough fucking question. There's the rub. So, I mean, you got to have some discipline. You got to have, some foresight. You can't, you gotta be knowing, because a lot of times, there's been girls who are really, really bad that I probably wasn't gonna simp for, and then they realized I wasn't gonna, and then they flashed some titty here or did something here, bent over here, and then I was sucked right back into doing it. So you gotta be smart, because they realize when you aren't, I don't know, they realize they know the game, they know what time it is, but the goal is not to be, but that's the eternal cat and mouse of the.
And that cat and mouse chase, some people could define that as a vortex, but what you're talking about is the hortex. Stan Edwards Jr., have you ever been caught in the hortex?
Yes, that's how I have 3 kids.
I can't go into too many details, but yeah, I've had some situations like that. I think my biggest, one of my biggest simp moments or whatever was, I took this girl out. This is when I was a young lad, of course, but took this girl out, to the movies and whatnot, and had zero game, and but took this girl out to the movies. This was, at the time, what I thought was the baddest chick I had ever, been around or whatever. But took her to the movies, whatnot. Came to the, took her back to her crib. Tried to kiss her, and that was awkward, of course. She completely turned away. And then years later, actually, kind of find out she was actually my cousin. So
wow.
That was
Arkansas shit. Shit.
Yeah. That's what it got. That's what it got. But that was awkward. But yeah, no, I've had my moments. I've tried to limit those moments, of course, but we all fall prey to them.
Oh yeah.
Especially when you're young, and you ain't ever been in love, and you're just out there trying to, experience life that way, and sexually. I've had times where there was girls, 6th, 7th grade, and I'm trying to, buy them little valograms and little roses and shit on Valentine's Day, and you got a homeboy that just didn't have to do shit. He's all laid up with them and shit, I don't know. You gotta watch who you spend that tricking on. You can't trick on everybody. It's hoes out there that they don't do nothing but go collect all day, and they want somebody to buy them some shit. It ain't got nothing to do with being on a an energy level or none of that. It's just strictly pay. You paying me for this, and you got Sims out there paying. And that's a job for them. They do it every single day. They get online and they got OnlyFans. They got all these Cash App and all these other things. You can do all that right now, and it's out there.
I was lucky. I did my simping with some women who didn't have game, right? So I remember, I could have got taken advantage of, a few times, but like I said, luckily, they either didn't have game to where they could have got more out of me, or they had mercy on me to where they didn't get what they could have got out of me. But when you said Valentine's Day, Mitch, that took me back to 6th grade. It's one young lady I had a crush on. Bought her bought her a little Valentine's Day heart with the chocolates in it, and had the little note and everything. Left it in her locker. She was trying to figure out like who bought it for her and all this stuff, and then came time for the reveal, and she was just so disappointed. And I'm like, oh man, that was terrible. Me and her became enemies after that, actually, which was funny. But no, that was one of my. Of course, that's some kid stuff, But that's one of my simping moments.
And I think it's very rational to say that we have all had moments that can be categorized as straight up simp moment. Now, the fickle freckle boy living in the sea, my co-host, jumped in the episode. You know what I'm saying? And I noticed when I was looking at the Swanglin leaderboard that we talked earlier, about how potentially Kyle at some point could swoop in somehow through rule technicality or something and become the Swanglin heavyweight champion. He's got like double the appearances, so if anybody could potentially jump in the mix with you two guys here and maybe try and state a claim towards that Swanglin accolade, it could be the fickle freckle boy living in the sea. Kyle, what would you simp for a shot at the Swanglin Championship?
I'd simp the nastiest hoe in Cary.
Cary, Ohio. Why did you say
Yeah.
We love you, Cary, Ohio.
Yeah, I wouldn't say any names, but I'd probably simp the nastiest hoe to get a fucking title belt. Like, I love you, baby. What do you need, dude? You need a Fago? I got you.
Yeah, so Marinated Mitch, represent Arkansas, is the #1 contender for the Swanglin Heavyweight Championship. He's all the way down there in Arkansas, and he knows about Cary, Ohio. The fickle freckle boy living in the sea has been fortunate enough to give the grand tour of that Wyandotte County out there to many out-of-state cats and let them know about how it's going down out here in the 419, and it's kind of wild that when we come down there
Cary,
to Arkansas,
Ohio. They show love to the fullest in Cary, Ohio. Every time we went down there, boy, and people was all for us. You know what I'm saying? Made us feel at home, 100%, 1,000%. Like nothing but love for Cary, Ohio. Swear, you'll never hear me say nothing bad about Cary, Ohio.
Oh yeah, I wish we could have our good buddy Young Push on the house to talk about one specific story about Cary, Ohio, and his journey from Arkansas to Cary, Ohio. It's like the Mecca for him. He loves it so much.
He was like a little kid, boy.
Oh yeah, episode 36.
We got food, everything coming.
Oh yeah, episode 36 of the Swanglin Show. We're reminiscing, talking about simping. We're talking about motherfucking old conspiracy memories that link our southern homies to the good old little village of Cary, Ohio. Or is it a city, Kyle? Or is it a town? What is Cary?
It's technically a village. You gotta have 5,000 people in the state of Ohio to be a town. They got like 37.
3,700 people?
Yeah, 3,700.
That's a small city. And you're looking at the dude that was the homecoming king of that fucking town, man. You see that
9 million fuckboy.
the best of the best. Now, when you were the homecoming king, Kyle,
Yeah.
were you simping as the king?
No, because I had a girlfriend. But here's the thing, though. I kind of simped for her, though, because we would go to the mall all the time. We went there fucking probably twice a week, man, like a school night and a weekend night. So we would be shopping just random stuff, and she would just say, oh, I really like that shirt, I like these jeans or something. And dude, I would go back the next day and buy that shit for her, and then surprise her with it like in a few days. All the time. I spent my whole paycheck for my high school girlfriend, dude. From the grocery store. I worked at the grocery store uptown, Frederick's IGA. And then I'd go, damn near the whole paycheck. We went to the movie theater so often that one time we went to the movie theater and got there on a Friday and realized we had seen every fucking movie they had there. And we just left and went putt-putting. Like, we were at that mall. I was buying her shit in there all the fucking time. You can't really call it simping in a way because we were dating and we really were, but like me, I'd have done anything for her. That was a close. I've done some other simping ass shit though, like in high school, like junior high and stuff, when I was a little more awkward. But I had a girlfriend most of high school, so that year, yeah, I had that girlfriend the whole time. So there was no simping going on.
Now,
I mean, you can simp. You can simp for your girlfriend if you're doing something you don't.
Well,
If you're doing
say,
something you don't want to do, that's that can still be considered.
That's true. That's true.
Now we got the Swanglin leaderboard set up, to where I'm tracking, closely monitoring how we're going to potentially set up some type of battle for the Swanglin Championship and how the title will be defended against the individuals that are coming into the number one contender spot to spicy it up. I'm thinking maybe we're going to do, maybe a 30-second a piece roast session on the Swanglin Show. Winner takes the championship. What do you guys think about that idea? As in maybe a good idea on who can come out on top with the belt.
That's a terrible idea. Not at all. that is not my wheelhouse.
Well, there's been some strange happenings on the Swanglin Show lately with some technical difficulties and some potential, shadow ban scenarios. What if, I accused Stan. I accused him before, man. I think he's playing some back end role in these technical difficulties on the Swanglin Show. What if he sets it up and he's like, oh yeah, that's not my strong suit, and then it's roast episode and boom, nobody else is on but Stan, and Stan's the champion.
Hey, how many times on wrestling have they they cut out the lights and next thing you know the champion laid out? Sometimes you got to cheat to win.
Oh, that's that Eddie Guerrero. Shout out to Eddie Guerrero. Rest in peace.
I was just still, baby.
You guys watching the video version of the Swanglin Show, and Kyle didn't see this, Mitch didn't see this, but as I'm waiting on the members of the illustrious conspiracy family to join me on this conversation, I had the screen share going in like a little lobby of sorts, and I was watching Eddie Guerrero versus Chris Benoit on motherfucking WCW Monday Nitro. Stan saw me watching that shit. It was fire. So that was nice. He dropped a little. He's drinking out of the fucking illustrious cup. Stan, show us your cup. That was.
It's empty now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you can't even see it.
Were you drinking actual wine?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I thought it was some other shit. I thought maybe you were drinking, a Diet Pepsi or something out of that fucking.
Oh no.
That glass. I love it when people do that.
I know.
I actually don't. I try not to drink pop too much.
We do a roast session though. Newkleus, I'm gonna eat you up. I swear to God, I'm gonna eat you up, bro.
Yeah, I can see that happen. I can see that happen.
I got some stories about your ass.
Yeah, dude, I've tried that roast fucking shit before, and I always end up losing. So I fucking usually keep to myself. So yeah, I'm over here in the corner.
But bro, hey, it's love though, bro. Like that right there, I'll never forget that shit. I'll never forget that the whole time y'all came out, bro. Like that whole time was epic, bro. I swear.
Now, on episode 36 of the Swanglin Show, I'm joined by the members of the conspiracy family. The co-number one contenders to the Swanglin Championship. I got my co-host Kyle Newkleus, whole singer, the fickle freckle boy living in the sea. Today I said it's Joshua P. Dunn. The P is for Pimpin because it's not about simping, but we defined and drew the line, I think, very, very definedly of what is simping, what isn't simping. If you're in a relationship and you're building with somebody, you spending money and spending time and building with that person, that is not a waste of time. That's not simping. That's not really tricking either. You know what I mean? That's actually what is called being active in your relationship and trying to nurture and grow and build something strong with another human being. Now, what happens when you do that on the back end, if the other person doesn't commit to you, that has nothing to do with who you are and the premise of your ideology on how you deal with other people in your relationships and your quest for relationships. If you're out here and you're a little son of a bitch and you feel like you got to flex your goddamn brand new car, or you got, how people are on this wave right now, Marinated Mitch, it's all blue hundreds only. If you're one of these little son of a bitches out here that you got to do that to get and impress a woman, man, you really need to question your core values and try and find out who it is that you're actually trying to be out here, because somebody's going to like that too, and you got to, you know, that's going to be the one that's going to work for the long term. So we're going to transition into doing some closing statements here on the Swanglin Show, episode 36. Simpin or pimpin is the real question, young prof. If you have to pick between simpin or pimpin, what do you go with?
I mean, I'm gonna go with pimping every time.
Marinated Mitch.
I mean,
Simpin or
You
pimpin?
already know. Pimpin. Since been Pimpin.
Okay,
Pimp.
so we have to know out there in Cary, Ohio, Kyle Newkleus Holsinger, is it simpin or pimpin?
Pimpin for life, dude. R.I.P. Pimp C.
Oh, R.I.P. Pimp C. And
Yeah.
like I said earlier today, it's Joshua P. Dunn. The P is for Pimpin'. It's going down this motherfucking episode 36 of the Swanglin Show. Make sure you're tuning in on all motherfucking platforms, and you're following at Rapper Geek Stan Edwards Jr. And you're following at MC Newkleus on all platforms, because that's the fickle freckle boy living in the sea, the co-host of the one and only fucking Squad Cast. And you're going to see us again next week, and you're going to see us again the week after that. We ain't going nowhere like the motherfucking subsidy check is going down in the United States of America at Casa de la Swangle. Rick's dangling for life. Rest in peace, Mr. Rage. I'll see you next week, you little
See you,
son
Rage.
of a bitch.